Well, hello. From time to time, I will intrude in the course to talk a bit about how things are going, primarily talking about how the process is working, in other words. A major goal of mine in the development of this course is the creation of what I think of as a virtual community, a kind of virtual sanctuary where we can speak freely and truthfully out of our own life journey, our own adventure with God. My commentary on your responses to the prompts each week and to each other constitute part of my teaching. And so that all shows up in the ongoing conversations that take place each week. But from time to time, I may feel the need to address strengths and concerns about the way we talk with each other, relate to each other. I'm not talking about any kind of special alert at this point, but I do want to take a moment to remind us all of a few things. I am, by the way, very pleased with the manner in which you've all jumped in during week one and shared out of your own journey. I can see distinct personalities already emerging, and I find that quite exciting. I'm especially pleased with your interactions with each other. I find your responsiveness to each other very encouraging, and that makes me eager to get involved with you all in the substantive discussions that are to begin this week. So, in anticipation, I have just three basic comments to help this grow and build as we move on through the semester. First, if you haven't read the piece in week one that's titled Personal Reflection Responses, What is Professor Kelly Looking For? Please take the time to do that. There's some very intentional guidance there about how we manage this crucial part of the process. But even if you did read it, I encourage you to read it again. There are key elements there for the success of the achievement of this goal of virtual community. I want to call your attention specifically to the last item on that list of comments. This is vital because it is a tendency that we all have. Yes, me too. It is vital that we all work really hard to avoid becoming Dr. Fix-It. Our comments to each other should be supportive, caring, inquisitive, but we should not be in the business of telling anyone what they should do about what they are sharing, unless there's a specific invitation, explicit invitation to do so. I work very hard at this. I am eager to help you think through your own journey toward your own goals and decisions. I will never tell you what I think you should do. I don't know you well enough to have that kind of wisdom. Yes, I've lived a long time and I've dealt with lots of students, but I'm still not wise enough to tell somebody what they should do. I can share out of my own experience, which is perfectly legitimate, but that's my experience that I'm sharing. While it might shed light on your processing, on your journey, it's never, ever a roadmap that I would give or that you could give to another person. Please be very mindful of this because Dr. Fix-It can really mess things up. Second point, because of the way Canvas sometimes places our responses to each other, I've seen, for example, my response, which was directly to an initial post, show up 3 or 4 down on the list, which is not in itself a big problem, but to facilitate communication, make make sure that you include the name of the person you are specifically addressing, even if your comment shows up immediately following another. It just is a nice way to tag through conversations. It just adds clarity. And finally, third, you don't have to respond to every single person. While it's fine if you do, it's not a requirement. I will respond to every initial listing, and sometimes maybe even at length, but not necessarily to every follow-up, although I will read everything that is posted in the conversation. If you have something to say, of course, say it. Say it to whomever you want to say it to. I'm not trying to limit speech here, but the course requirement is that you respond to a minimum of 2 additional postings. I do count those, by the way, looking for substantive responses, but I also count them because it's part of the way that I take attendance. Your initial posting and 2 additional postings I keep on a chart like this. You can see. And that tells me that you've done your work for the week. There will, of course, be other assignments. There will be other things you'll be asked to do that have to be evaluated and responded to. But in terms of this ongoing conversation, that's how I take attendance. So make sure that you're following through, not just in a rote kind of way, not just clicking off boxes, but in substantive and thoughtful ways. Well, enough of all of this. You may not see another from time to time. There may not be another reason for me to interrupt, so to speak. Thank you all again for how you've jumped in and made the initial entry into what may become one of the most important conversations. I have it written down here of your life, but also of mine, because while you're working through this stuff, I'm working through it. I'm on my own journey with you, and you have been very helpful to me on my journey. I look forward to the end of my teaching career. God bless you. See you soon. Bye-bye.